Hi beautiful people, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. My name is Osetale. On this channel I share tutorial videos on how to cut and sew. As you can see, today's video is going to be centered around how I made this beautiful wrap short jumpsuit with a puff sleeve, and also it has a collar. So if you're interested in learning how to make this jumpsuit, keep on watching, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started with the tutorial. Welcome back guys. So in my last tutorial I shared with you guys how I drafted out this pattern, which was the part 1 version of the making of this jumpsuit. So in case you missed that video, use the link you are seeing on the screen right now to watch it. Then after we were done drafting out the pattern, I went ahead to use them to cut on my fabric. So how I cut it out is I added 1/2 inch to the top of the sleeve and also to the bottom of the sleeve for the sewing allowance. I cut it on fold, as you can see. So that was how I went ahead to cut out the sleeve. For the front part, I went ahead to cut it out, also adding all the sewing allowance. You can see I added 1/2 inch to the shoulder, to the armhole. I added 1 inch to the side and 1/2 inch to the down part, and also this side. You can see I did not add any sewing allowance to the neck because you don't have to do that. So all the sewing allowance are only on the other side except the neck. So that was how I went ahead to cut out the front piece. Then for the back piece, I also cut the back piece on fold, because if you can remember when we were drafting it out, I said the zip is going to be on the side. You can see I did not add any sewing allowance to the neck. I only added sewing allowance to the other part of the body, just the same way I did for the front part. Okay, so for the short, which is the lower part of this jumpsuit, I went ahead to cut it out. I added 2 inches sewing allowance to the hem part for the hem, and I added 1/2 inch sewing allowance to the upper part. You can see I did not add sewing allowance to the crotch and the side. Why? Because when we were drafting at the back pattern, I drafted the back pattern to be 2 inches bigger than the front pattern, if you can remember. So that has already served as the sewing allowance. So the only sewing allowance I added to the short part is only on the top and the bottom. So that's how I went ahead to use all the pattern papers to cut on my fabric, just the way you are seeing on the table. Now I'm going to go ahead to start sewing. I will start by working on the upper part first. So the first thing I will do now is I'm going to go ahead to mark out the dart. So that's what I'm doing right now. So guys, after you're done marking out the darts, now take this to the sewing machine, and I'm just going to go ahead and sew the dart. And after I'm done sewing the dart, I'll just remove the pattern paper of the front piece. I'm not going to be sewing any dart to the front piece because it is a wrap. You don't need to, sew a dart to it. Then after sewing the dart to the back piece, I'll just place the front pieces on the back piece, the right sides facing each other, just the way you see me doing. Then I'm going to go ahead and join the shoulders. So guys, this is what I have after I was done joining the shoulders. Another thing I went ahead to do was I folded this wrap area. Okay, this wrap area where the neck end, I just folded it down. So that was another thing I went ahead to do. You can see I sewed the darts to it just as I demonstrated. So this is what I have currently. This is how I have it looking like. I also went ahead to iron it out in a way that the back piece is 1/2 inch coming down to the front. This is because when you are sewing a cloth that has a collar, the neckline of the back is not supposed to be deep. So that was a little mistake that I made when I was drafting it out. So now I iron it in a way that the back piece is coming down to the front, making the back neckline kind of straight. Instead of it to look like this, I made it to come down so that it will be looking more straight. And that effect now is that the front piece is now longer than the back piece. Don't worry, we are going to use band to actually make the length okay later. You will also notice that the armhole of the front is now longer than the back. Don't worry, we'll work on that later in this video. Now I'm just going to go ahead to measure around the neck to know what I have, because the next thing I'm going to be doing is to sew the collar. So the neckline I have is 14 inches. Then I'm going to bring this pattern paper I'll be using to draft out the neck. So I'm going to be measuring 14 inches divided by 2, which is 7 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and rule a straight line just like this. After I'm done doing that, I will go up by 1 inch. Then I'll go in by 1 inch as well, just like that. Then you're going to go ahead and also rule a straight line. Then after you're done doing that, now I'm going to go up by 2 inches and rule a straight line here. Then I'm just going to go ahead and extend this line that I have here just like this. Then I'm going to draw a slanted line to meet that line just like that. After you're done doing that, then you're going to measure what you have here, 1 inch, and you mark it here as well. Then you're going to rule a straight line just like this. Now I'm going to measure what I have in this slanted line. I have 2.5 inches. Then I'm going to come to this side here and measure 2 inches and mark it. Here I have 2.5 inches, but here I measured 2 inches. Then go ahead and connect it with your straight ruler. Now you're going to go ahead to cut this out. So guys, when I was cutting, I realized that I didn't make a curve here, so you are going to make a little curve here. It's not supposed to be totally sharp, so make a curve there, then go ahead and cut it out. So after cutting, I'm going to use it to cut on my fabric. This is what I had after I was done using it to cut on my fabric on fold, and I also added all the sewing allowance to it. Now I'm going to open these pieces up. You can see I have 2 of them, so I will be ironing hairstay to only one of the piece. Okay, after ironing, I'll go ahead and trace out all the excess hairstay. So guys, this is it after I was done doing that. Now I'm going to place the 2 collars together, the right sides facing each other. Then I'm going to take this to the sewing machine. I'm just going to sew it round just like this. I will leave about 1/2 inch on both sides. So guys, this is what I had after I was done sewing it, as I earlier demonstrated. Now on this sharp edge here, I'm just going to be making notches on the 2 sharp edge that I have, just the way you see me doing. Guys, you can see the space I say you should leave. This is the 1/2 inch space. It's not even up to 1/2 inch. That's where we'll be attaching it to the neck. So just go ahead now to flip this to the right side and iron it out. So guys, this is what you're going to have after you're done ironing. Now you're going to fold it together and you're going to make a notch at the middle of the collar. Then you're also going to bring your fabric. You're going to also fold your fabric neckline together and you're going to make a notch at the middle as well. So guys, after you are done doing that, now you're going to place the 2 notches together, the notch of the collar and the notch of the fabric. Place them together just like this. You're going to pin it down. Then you're going to go ahead and pin it all the way to the other end, just the way you see me doing. So after you're done doing that, you're also going to go ahead and pin this other side to the other end. So guys, after pinning, now take this to the sewing machine and sew it down. This is what I had after I was done sewing, guys. This is how I have it looking like. Now I'm going to go ahead to make notches on these parts that I just sewed. So guys, after making notches, now I'm going to use this other part of the collar to flip it just the way you see me doing. I'll use it and fold it just like this, making sure that it is covering the sewing that I just made. Do you understand? Making sure that the seam is inside. Then I'm going to go ahead and pin it down just the way you see me doing. Then you're going to keep doing this. Fold it, make sure all the seam is inside, pin it down till you do this to the other end. So guys, after pinning, now you're going to take this to the sewing machine. You're just going to run a stitch on it down. So that's what I'm going to do. This is what I had after I was done doing that. You can see I run a stitch on it. I also went ahead to just run stitch round the collar itself, just the way you are seeing right now. So this is what I have after I was done doing that. So guys, this is it. This is how I have it looking like for now. Now I'm just going to go ahead to arrange this in order for me to trim it and cut out all the excesses that I currently have. So guys, you can see now that the armhole of the front is currently bigger than what I have for the back. So I just measured it and I realized that it is exactly what I need. Now I'm just tracing out the excess that I have from the back, just like this. I'll trace it out on this side and I'll also do the same thing on this other side. I make sure that my measurement is still exactly up to what I need, okay? So don't go and overcut your own and make your measurement short, okay? You can see this part that the front is longer than the back. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead to measure the length, like the half length. You know that this jumpsuit is going to have a band at the waist area. So the half length and the band is what is supposed to be 16 inches. Now I currently have 16.5 inches. So that means I can cut out this excess that I have in front and my measurement will not be short, because by the time I add the 1.5 inches band that I'm going to be adding to it, it's going to give me 16.5 inches, which is exactly what I need. Okay, so I'm just marking out the excess now. As you can see, I'm rolling it out with a straight ruler and I'm going to cut it out. So by doing this, I have leveled it up, meaning that the front and the back piece, the front is no longer too longer than the back piece, as you can see. So that is it, guys. I'm also going to go ahead to measure the bust area. So I'll just measure my round bust measurement for this jumpsuit, and I will also add the sewing allowances. So any more excesses that I have, I'm going to go ahead and also trim it out, just the way you see me doing. Okay, make sure to take your measurements before trimming. Don't over trim it in a way that it will now be too small. So my waist measurement divided by 2 is 14, so the 3 inches extra is for the sewing allowance. So guys, this is it. I've gone ahead to trim it out and this is what I have. Now I'm just going to go ahead to pin this down so that I can open it up and I'll work on the back piece. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this back piece to the sewing machine. I will sew the band to it. So just go ahead and sew it like that. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So after I was done sewing the band to the back piece, this is what I have it looking like. So this is it, guys. This is what you are going to have. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to bring the front part of the short part of the jumpsuit, which is the lower body of the jumpsuit. I'm going to go ahead and remove the pattern paper. Now the first thing I will do is on this side here, I'm just going to go ahead and mark 1/2 inch, which is going to be for my sewing allowance. Now I'm going to go ahead and measure my round waist measurement divided by 4, which is 7 inches. Then I'm just going to make a mark there. Then from that mark, I'll just take this to the sewing machine and I will sew the crotch line just the way you see me demonstrating. Now I'm going to measure what I have from here to here. I will divide it into 2 to get half of it. So just go ahead and make a notch there. Now what I have from this notch to this part, I'll measure the same thing at this downwards part here. Then I'm going to go ahead and rule a straight line and use the same points to mark out the other side, just the way you see me doing. So guys, after you're done doing this, now you take this to the sewing machine, sew the crotch, and you're also going to sew the dart. So I'll be sewing my dart to be as long as 4 inches on both sides. So guys, this is what I had after I was done sewing the crotch and the dart, and I also went ahead to iron it out. This is how I have it looking like. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and sew the band to the waist area of this front part. So go ahead and do that. This is what I had after I was done sewing the band to it. This is it. Now the waist area, I have it to be exactly 14 inches, which is there's no sewing allowance yet. So by the time I remove 1/2 inch sewing allowance from the both sides, I'm going to have the front part to be 13 inches. Now I'm going to take 13 inches away from my round waist measurement, which is 28 inches. So 28 inches minus 13 inches, I'm going to have 15 inches remaining. So from this mark that I just made, I'll measure 15 inches divided here by 2, which is 7.5. Then I'll add extra 1 inch for the dart. Now I'm going to go ahead and sew from this part all the way to the crotch line. I'm just going to join the crotch line like that. Then this point from here to this side that I have, I'm going to divide it into 2, get the midpoint of it and make a notch there. Now I'm going to measure what I have from that notch to this end. I'll measure the same thing at this downward area here. Then I'm going to go ahead to use it and mark for the other side. Now you're going to rule a straight line just the way you see me doing. I'm trying to mark out the dart. Okay, now I'll take this to the sewing machine. I will join the crotch area of the back, then I'll sew the dart on the both sides. So the dart of the back is going to be as long as 5 inches. So that's what I'm going to do right now. This is what I had after I was done sewing the dart and also the crotch of the back. So this is what you are going to have. Now the next thing I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to go ahead and bring the back part of my dress, the upper body, then flip it together and make a notch at the middle. Now you are going to place them the right sides facing each other. You are going to join the back part of the short to the back part of the upper body. So just pin it down at the middle, then take this to the sewing machine and you're just going to sew it down. After you are done sewing, guys, it's supposed to look something like this. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Take this to the sewing machine and sew it down. So guys, this is what I had after I was done joining the lower back parts to the upper back part body. So this is it. Now the next thing I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to be joining the front part of the short to the back part of the short, just like this. You can see that the front part is smaller than the back. Don't worry about that. So just go ahead and place it together. Make sure you start joining from where the band starts from. So place the sides together like this and join it. Then after doing that, you're also going to place these other sides together and you're also going to go ahead to join it. After you're done joining it, guys, you're going to bring this area here together just like this. You also take it to the sewing machine and join it. So that's what I'm going to do. This is what I had after I was done doing as I demonstrated. I joined the two sides just like that, and I also joined this part. Don't worry about the fact that I've sealed it up for now. Don't worry, when the time comes I will open it up where I will put a zipper. So just leave it there for now. Now the next thing I want to do is to attach the sleeve. So I already worked on the sleeve to an extent. I went ahead to hem the down part of the sleeve and I put a rubber band on it just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and attach the sleeve to the body. So I'm just going to place the sleeve on the body, the right sides facing each other. Then I'm just going to sew it like that. When I get close to the middle, I will start making pleats on it. Can you see what I'm doing? So just go ahead and make pleats on it at the middle area like this. Then after you are done doing that, you also sew it all the way to the other end. Then you do the same thing to the other sleeve. This is what I had after I was done attaching the sleeve. You can see the pleats. So this is what you're going to have it looking like. Now guys, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead to take this down part of the front to the sewing machine. I'm just going to go ahead to hem it. So remove your pin, take this to the sewing machine and hem it down. Then you do the same thing to the other one. After you're done doing that, you're going to go ahead and join the sides. So just place it together like this, put the sleeve together, then you're going to join the sides down. You also place the other side together like that, and you're also going to go ahead and join the sides. So guys, this is what I had after I was done doing that. So you can see I've joined the sides, the two sides, and I also fold the hem part of the wrap just the way I said. So this is it. Now the next thing I went ahead to do was to sew this rope that I'll be using to tie this wrap at my back. So just place the rope at the tip like that. You sew it, cut out the excess, and you're going to top stitch it. Then you will do the same thing to this other one. This is what I had after I was done, adding the rope to the wrap, guys, as you can see. So this is what I have it looking like. Now the next thing I want to do is to attach my zip. So to do that, I'm just going to open up the seam allowance that I have here. Then I will use my iron to open it up and iron it flat just the way you see me doing, in order for me to have a gaiter. So now I'm going to loosen it. This is what I had after I was done loosening it. I loosen it in a way that I have it to be 9 inches long. So I'm just going to stitch that part to prevent it from loosening. Then after doing that, I'll go ahead and attach my zipper to the side. This is what I had, guys, after I was done attaching the zipper to the side. So this is the zipper. I've attached it to the side like this, and this is what I have it looking like. Now the last but not the least thing I'm going to do now is to take this to the sewing machine. Then I will hem the down part of this jumpsuit. I'll also do the same thing to this other one. Go ahead and hem the down part of the jumpsuit, and that will be basically all for this tutorial. This is what I had, guys, after I was done hemming it. You can see I hemmed it and I ironed it out, and this is what I have it looking like. So basically, this is how to go about making a wrap short jumpsuit with a puff sleeve. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. Please don't forget to like, comment and share. I will see you all in my next video.